What if I told you that the biggest barrier to sustainability in beauty is how the industry makes us feel about ourselves? Because let's be real, it doesn't matter how recyclable your packaging is, or how waterless your formulation is, or how locally sourced your ingredients are. If your entire business model depends on people feeling bad about how they look, then something is deeply broken here. And no matter how many green initiatives you launch, you can't fix a problem built on the idea that we as humans need fixing. Welcome to Green Beauty Conversations. I'm Lorraine Dallmeier, Chartered Environmentalist, Biologist, and the CEO of award-winning online organic cosmetic formulation school, Formula Botanica. And this is part 3 of a special 4-part series called The Truth About Sustainable Beauty, where I share the biggest insights I've gained from hosting this podcast for the last 7 years. I've interviewed hundreds of people all across the cosmetic sector, and I've seen some big patterns emerge. And I plan to share those with you in this short series so that you can see them too. Each episode, I'll tackle one of the uncomfortable truths that the beauty industry doesn't want to face. And today I'm asking a particularly confronting question, which is, can beauty ever truly be sustainable if it continues to profit from making people feel bad about themselves? So to answer that, we need to talk about marketing, which is actually one of my favorite topics, as I do rather a lot of it here at Formula Botanica. And while I was researching marketing in the cosmetics industry, I came across a quote dating back to the 1930s from the founder of what is one of the world's biggest beauty brands. So his advice for selling cosmetics was this. It was very simple. He was quoted as saying, "Tell people they're disgusting, they don't smell good, and they're not attractive." Whew. Now reading that quote is pretty shocking, right? And yet, when I look at beauty advertising today, I do still see the same message. It's just wrapped up in cleaner fonts and pastel packaging. So we are constantly sold this idea that we need to be smoother, younger, thinner, clearer, brighter, tighter, more polished, more put together. The beauty industry has always preyed on insecurity. That's what sells. Sex might sell, but insecurity sells even more. And if we're talking about sustainability, we can't ignore this. Because overconsumption isn't just about convenience or affordability. It's emotional. People don't hoard serums and creams because they need them. They buy them because they've been told that they're not enough without them. And even in my own household, I'm starting to see this creep in. So my teenage sons are now being targeted by skincare marketing as well. There are entire TikTok trends built around 3-step skincare regimes, or even, and I'm truly horrified to say these words, 12-step skincare routines for teenagers. Acne is a natural part of adolescence? Not anymore. Now it's a flaw to be corrected, a sign of failure if it isn't treated. In all honesty, my eldest son uses more skincare than I do. And the more we internalize these messages, the more we consume. And the more we consume, the less responsible we become. So this is the elephant in the room. We can talk about sustainable packaging and carbon footprints and biodegradable ingredients until we're blue in the face. But if we don't talk about the emotional manipulation that drives beauty sales, we are not telling the whole story. Because the truth is this, you cannot build a sustainable industry on the foundation of self-loathing. Whew, it's a tough one. Let's go even deeper. So there's a regulatory quirk in cosmetics that I find fascinating. And although I do truly understand it, I also find it a bit problematic because of everything I've just been talking about. So beauty products are not allowed to make health claims. I get this. Unlike pharmaceuticals, which can say things like, this heals your skin barrier or this treats eczema, cosmetics must only promise to alter appearance, not function. So even if a brand genuinely wants to say, the product I've made helps you maintain healthy skin, it can't. That brand has to default to phrases like, my product will brighten your complexion or reduce the appearance of fine lines. Its messaging is subtle, but over time, it means that even the well-meaning brands are reinforcing the same message over and over. Your worth lies in your looks. So let's not forget that famous brand slogan, because you're worth it. That message has a cost, because when beauty becomes about fixing flaws rather than supporting well-being, we end up on a treadmill, always needing the next product, the next promise, the next miracle. I like to call this the infinite consumption loop, because it is quite honestly the opposite of sustainability. And it's so normalized for all of us that we barely even question it. But here's a radical idea. What if beauty wasn't about inadequacy at all? What if it was about care? What if it was about wellness, ritual, connection to self, joy, celebrating our humanity? Because I believe that when we remove the shame, we also remove the need to overconsume. We shift from chasing perfection to simply supporting our skin. And that shift, it's powerful because that's where true sustainability lives. And that's why I believe that cosmetic autonomy, so the ability to decide what we use, why we use it, when we use it, how much of it we need, this is key to breaking this cycle. It's about reclaiming your power, about opting out of shame-based marketing and embracing products that actually serve you. Now, this point does seem to currently be lost on the beauty industry, which is awash with coalitions and working groups and sustainability consortia, and they're each focused on fine-tuning one piece of the puzzle. They're debating the recyclability of toothpaste tubes and pumps and harmonizing labeling standards and setting guidance for responsible mica sourcing or optimizing life cycle assessment methodologies for individual ingredients. And these are absolutely important conversations. And I don't want to diminish the work that these groups are doing because it is important, but they do tend to focus on the margins. They tinker around the edges while ignoring the core issue, which is the fact that the beauty industry's entire operating model is unsustainable by design. And what these working groups and initiatives often fail to acknowledge is that true sustainability won't come from smarter packaging or marginally better formulations alone. It requires less production, less marketing of insecurity, less dependence on volume-based sales. Yet by focusing obsessively on these micro-optimizations, whether a serum cap is 60 or 70% recycled plastic, for instance, we're avoiding the far more uncomfortable conversation about degrowth, overconsumption, and the psychological manipulation that fuels the beauty industry's profit engine. So this isn't accidental, because working and focusing on the minutiae gives this illusion of progress. It allows brands to say that they're working on sustainability without questioning the fundamental drivers of waste and harm. And until some of these trade groups are willing to grapple with the structural change that sustainability truly demands, they will remain part of the distraction and not the solution. So here is my challenge to you. The next time you reach for a product, ask yourself, is this about care or is this about correction? Is this something I want or something I've been made to feel that I need? Because until we decouple beauty from shame, we'll never make the beauty industry truly sustainable. Now, I know that change is possible because I see it every day in our community here at Formula Botanica. People formulating for joy, for creativity, for connection, not because they feel inadequate. And that gives me a lot of hope, and it should give you hope too, because it shows that we don't have to follow the beauty industry's old and tired script. We can choose a different story. One where beauty is about empowerment, not shame. And when we do that, we open the door to a kind of sustainability that doesn't just protect our environment and our communities, but also protects our sense of self. Thank you for listening to this episode of Green Beauty Conversations. This was part 3 of my 4-part The Truth About Sustainable Beauty series. If you enjoyed it, please do leave us a 5-star review and share it with someone who wants to see the beauty industry do better. And don't forget to visit formulabotanica.com to try our free formulation course and learn how to be part of the change. So in the next and final episode of this short series, before I return to my regular guest interviews, I'll be looking ahead to the future of beauty. What's next and where do we go from here? I'll see you next week.